Welcome back, everyone, to the Bourbon Judge. Hope everyone's doing really well. Can't believe it's the week before Super Bowl Sunday. Football is almost over, but hey, everything has to come to an end, right? On the positive side, it's starting to, eventually it'll start to get warmer out, which is pretty cool. That way I can play some golf and watch some golf. But let's get back to what we came to discuss today, which is bourbon. So today we're gonna go ahead and review the top 5 bourbons to start your bourbon collection. So when I thought about this episode, I wanted to find 5 different bourbons that really incorporated a couple things. Number one, price standpoint, very affordable, right? So I would say less than $55. So all the bourbons you're gonna see today are anywhere from $30 to no more than $55, right? Number two, they're all small batch, so they come in small batch, so they're easy to find as a whole, right? When you're going out, you're looking at a liquor store, you're trying to find them. These are small batch, so they kind of come out in masses. You may go to a couple of different liquor stores to try to find them, but no more than 2, honestly. You should be able to find these at almost all liquor stores. And then number 3, the last thing is I wanted to provide you with a list of bourbons that are on the lower end from a proof standpoint. So bourbon typically ranges anywhere from like 90 up to 130 proof, right? So the stronger it is, it's typically going to be a barrel proof bourbon. But if it's on the lower end, 90 or 100 proof, that means that it was cut with water to kind of bring down the alcohol content as a whole. And kind of sometimes they maybe almost increase the flavor a little bit as well, right? So that's that. So let's start off. First one, 1792 small batch. So 1792 bourbon comes out of 1792 distillery. They are a Kentucky-based distillery. They make small batch, full proof, a bottled in bond, and several different other versions, right? But this one here, on average, you'll find this one about $30. You may find it by maybe $35, again, kind of depending on where you live. But on average, it's about $30 to $35 for the most part. From a proof standpoint, this one is 93.7, so definitely on the lower end, right? As you're starting to kind of ease your way into bourbon, this is a really good bourbon to kind of start off with. Great quality at a great price point. And I also did review this one of my earlier episodes, so definitely check back to see the earlier episode. So that's 1792. Second one is Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare bourbon is a phenomenal bourbon. Comes from the Buffalo Trace line. You'll find Eagle Rare on average about $35 to maybe $40 max. Again, give or take a couple of dollars depending on where you live. Sometimes liquor stores mark things up a little bit, but these bourbons, you're really not going to find too much of a markup. What's nice about Eagle Rare is that this one's actually aged 10 years and it's only like a $40 bottle of bourbon. That's not bad if you think about it, right? Also coming from Buffalo Trace, who Buffalo Trace produces, I think maybe about 20 different sub brands, give or take a few there. And then from a proof standpoint, this one is 90 proof, right? So Eagle Rare, right? And for the most part, from a sub brand, Eagle Rare really just makes this version, and they also have a double Eagle Rare, which is aged 20 years. Now that one is way expensive, so obviously look for the small batch, which is the one more than likely that you would actually find out in the liquor store. Okay, going to number 3, the third good bourbon to really start your bourbon collection, Michter's. There we go. So this one, you're actually looking at a limited edition. This is Michter's Toasted Barrel. I actually just finished the small batch version, so my apologies, the bottle's empty. But it looks just like it. The only difference is that it'll say small batch. Michter's, for the most part, you'll find it about $40 to $45. Similar to the others, Michter's, they make, so Michter's also based in Kentucky. They make a rye, they make a barrel strength rye. They make this toasted barrel version here, the one I'm holding in front of me today. They make a sour mash, and then a couple others as well, right? But again, very good quality. Michter's, this one's 91.4. Even the small batches, typically like the 90 to 95 proof range. Really good quality bourbon at a great price point. Can't go wrong with Michter's. So that's number 3. Number 4, one of, I think, my favorite lines of bourbon, which is Colonel E.H. Taylor Small Batch. E.H. Taylor is a phenomenal bourbon. I also reviewed this one as well in an earlier episode. So E.H. Taylor is also made by Buffalo Trace out of Kentucky, right? So Kentucky bourbon, right? We're starting to get the whole drift here. E.H. Taylor, The small batch version, you can typically find it anywhere from 40. This one may be a little bit higher, maybe like $50. Of the 5 that you'll see today, this may be the one that you may have to go to maybe 3 or 4 liquor stores, but eventually you will find it, and it shouldn't be more than $50. The small batch is a great product. This one here is bottled and bond. So again, I reviewed this in an earlier episode. So bottled and bond means it was aged for at least 4 years, comes in at exactly 100 proof, and then also in a government controlled warehouse as well, right? So each Teller small batch, phenomenal product. Under this sub brand, Colonel H. Teller, they make a couple others. They make a barrel proof version, they make a rye, they make a single barrel, and a few others. But again, phenomenal quality as a whole. All right, that's number 4. All right, so you're probably saying, well, Bourbon Judge, what's number 5, right? You have to drink at least one bourbon, right? You're the Bourbon Judge, right? You already kind of told us that these are ones that you suggest that, I start a collection with, so there's really technically no need for the gavel, although I got to at least get it in, right? At least one time. But I have to sip at least one bourbon. So the one I chose is number 5. This is the bourbon that it really started my love of bourbon, right? So this one here is Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, right? So Woodford Reserve obviously is a huge distillery, again, in Kentucky. Woodford Reserve makes a standard small batch. They make this double oaked version. They have a rye and a few others, right? You'll find Woodford Reserve of all these. You'll find Woodford Reserve all over. I mean, truly, it's in hotels. It's in the little, at every bar, and every little mini bar in hotels, cruise ships. I mean, it's all over. You can't go anywhere without finding Woodford Reserve. The regular small batch version of it is good. It's decent. The double oaked is really good. So these are the top 5. Let's go ahead and just sip this one real quick. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of Woodford Reserve. Even though I own a good number of bottles of bourbon, it's always nice to kind of go back to where it all started. So cheers, folks. Let's get into this. I love that very obviously oaky smell, but also some good hints of like some leather, some spice, a little bit of cherries as well. It's nice. Beautiful brown color. Very nice. All right, let's see how this one tastes. Not so much the leather came through, but like the some honey, some caramel, right? Very traditional flavors from bourbon. Honey, caramel, a little bit of oak, a little bit of spice, but very smooth. This one, by the way, I should say, for Woodford Reserve. I'll just go ahead and get the proof for you real quick. Double oaked. Oh, there we go. 90.4 proof. 90.4 proof. Very smooth going down. Phenomenal bourbon, honestly, guys. If you're trying to start trying to start your bourbon collection, definitely start with these 5. If you're similar to me, make Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, which comes in about $55. Make this definitely one of the ones that you start off with. Get one last little sip. I brought it home. Great bourbon. Share these with your friends, family members. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.